What's going on, everyone? Well, talked about how Rui Hachimura just gave himself, the I'm getting traded curse, right? When he said that the Los Angeles Lakers need a center. Anthony Davis did the same thing, and they shipped him out. Well, Rui Hachimura, he decided to say, like, hey, Lakers really need a center, did a whole video about it, and now reports have came out that the Lakers may look to trade Rui Hachimura for a center. Now, in all seriousness, right, Rui Hachimura probably getting traded regardless, whether it's for a center or, other pieces. He's our biggest expiring contract, which we have seen has incredible value with the new CBA, right? It's how we got Dorian Finney-Smith when the Memphis Grizzlies were offering a first. It was protected first, but still, like, it was a first. And the Brooklyn Nets looked at it and go, we'd rather have the expiring contract in D'Angelo Russell than taking on long-term salary. And yes, we'd be getting a first, but, the first isn't worth the financial flexibility for a team that is probably hitting the reset button or looking to trade for a Giannis. So, you look at the situation, and most of the centers, unless you're able to get a Mark Williams or a Walker Kessler or something like that, most of them are going to be pretty pricey, right? Chances are if the Lakers are going to land a center, it's going to be a more, pricey trade type center, right? Nick Claxton, in my opinion, is probably the most likely acquisition for the Lakers. He's probably the most likely trade. And he's making, I believe it's like $25 million and some change this season. So you'd have to trade Rui plus somebody else in order to acquire him. Now, if I'm the Lakers, I wouldn't just try to get Nick Claxton. A little quick side note, I would try to get Nick Claxton and Cam Johnson. Can you get both of them? Now you got a 3-and-D wing, and you got that center that can play alongside Luka and LeBron. That would be fantastic. But nonetheless, right? Rui Hachimura, I fully expect to be traded. If not this offseason, by the trade deadline, I think he's gone, right? Because, again, he's your most pricey expiring contract at $17 million. On top of that, right, I do think he would have some value to some teams, right? Especially after his, really the end of the playoffs, the last like 2 games, he was arguably the third best player the entire series, you could argue, right? So I do think that there are some value. He does have a good history in the postseason. He's a big, strong, physical type of center. Not really great defensively or moving laterally, but I think he's best as a power forward. I think him at the 4 makes a ton of sense, but LeBron has to play the 4, right? But some of these other teams that could use a more bigger physical power forward, Rui Hachimura slides in and just would be seamless for them and can stretch the floor and do all those things. So I do think he'll have value. And then also, the closer you get to the NBA trade deadline, the more value those expiring contracts have. They're appreciating value. Right? Like, that's what it is, the appreciated asset, right? So it's going to continue to appreciate between now and the trade deadline. So Lakers, obviously, look, I like, the Lakers aren't in the position where they can be patient, right? Like, you have to at least get somebody, right? I do think the Nets are probably the most likely scenario because, again, we know what they value more than anything. Sean Marks and Rob Pelinka have a great relationship, right? They've, built a great friendship together, even dating back to the Kyrie trades and stuff where they were hanging out, having dinners and doing all this stuff, right? And then on top of that, we know that Brooklyn's open to trading with us. We've made multiple trades with them over the years. Most recently was the Dorian Finney-Smith trade. Obviously, we did the Brook Lopez trade, right? So there is, again, usually trade with the teams that you're comfortable with, that you're familiar with, right? That you're usually time and time again doing that over and over with. So I look at this situation and I'm like, the Nets are probably your most likely destination, most likely scenario to land the pieces that you need, particularly a Nick Claxton. He would be ideal. He can defend out in space, right? He can defend in the pick and roll. He can be a shot blocker, right? Not really a floor stretcher or anything like that, but still, it's fine. The only problem with Nick Claxton, he's like 220 pounds, right? So he doesn't solve like your physical interior presence, which, at that point, I think you can, can you get a Steven Adams, right? Can you get a Clint Capella? Somebody like that can come in and be that kind of more physical, kind of beefier type of center that can slot in, when Nick Claxton's getting bullied and pushed around, boom, hey, let's bring in, Steven Adams. Let's bring in Clint Capella. And you still have that lob threat. You still have a lot of the same things that you want and need, but now you have just more size and physicality, particularly, better just weight and lower center of gravity, right? But Obviously Rui, I love Rui. He's a fan favorite. Most people love Rui. I don't know how you hate Rui, right? Like Rui's awesome, but he kind of is the odd man out, right? Like Lakers need more two-way wings. And Rui just doesn't give you that defense, particularly on a consistent basis, right? Yes, the shooting is fantastic, but even him shooting 42% from three-point range, I'd rather have a guy that shoots 38% from three-point range but can defend multiple positions. Or even a guy that shoots 37% but can defend multiple positions, because it's just better balance. You're able to stop the opposing team, right? You don't have to work as hard now on the defensive side of things, because if you have multiple defensive pieces. I'd like some athleticism out there on the wing, especially the three. Usually the three spot is your most athletic guy, right? Because you need it to be. He has so much ground to cover. He's on the strong side of the action. He has to defend out on the perimeter and at times be a help defender and be able to get back and do all these things, right? Like, you need somebody with some athleticism. The Lakers' problem is it's like they just have zero athleticism out on the perimeter. It's like Luka, okay, right? It's Luka. Okay, well, who's next to Luka? Oh, Austin Reeves, right? Like, who is as bad and unathletic as Luka. Then it's like, okay, well, who's next to Austin Reeves? Rui Hachimura. It's like, he's as bad and unathletic as Austin Reeves and Luka, right? So you just, when LeBron James at age 40 in year 22 is your most athletic starter, it's a problem, right? Like, you need guys that can start, that can give you some athleticism, give you some defense, give you some switchability, give you some versatility out there on the wing, be able to knock down the three ball with consistency. Just do the things that this team needs on a nightly basis. While, obviously you want to kind of piece it out and have several of those guys. But I just think Rui is your best trade chip outside of course, Austin Reeves and Dalton Connect. But I'm talking about like just pure, like, here's, free money wise, like, let me help you get off of what you need to get off of, right? Rui's the guy that is the best for that and is going to have value in that regard, on top of him being a good player, the quality role guy that can come off the bench, that could start, that could do multiple things. Rui Hachimura is probably getting traded. More likely than not, he's the odd man out. And obviously the Lakers' biggest need is the center spot. Lakers' biggest need is landing a center. So in order to land a center, you're probably going to have to give up multiple pieces, not just Rui. But Rui Hachimura is your most sizable contract, so he's the guy that you're going to have to take to now go and trade to go get that Nick Claxton or whomever, right? Whoever becomes available. If you sign and trade for a Miles Turner or whatever, right? You're going to need his contract and the fact that it's expiring in order to pull that off. So regardless, I do think Rui Hachimura is the guy that's going to end up being traded regardless, but it makes sense that the reports are coming out that he's being traded for a center, or that he's expected to be traded for a center. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Phil, what are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Rui Hachimura being traded? Do you think absolutely not? You cannot trade Rui. You have to keep Rui. You cannot let him go. Kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.